So last week I went to a competition and I'm going to do a vlog about it anyway, but I didn't have my white dobok with me because I was under the impression that it was okay to not have the white dobok, basically. But it wasn't. And then this one I'm going to this week also said in the rules that you've got to have a white dobok. So I have a very big hole in my dobok pants right now. And the problem is, like, I am not a seamstress. I'm very DIY on my sewing. Like, I'm competent, but this is like right in the crotch area. And I always wear shorts under my dobok when I'm sparring anyway. Or even like training. But because like, when I do it, I wear shorts that are black under it, so everyone just thinks they can see my underwear as it is. So even though I'm not flashing, people think I'm flashing, and it's like awkward for everyone else. This problem will be resolved if I could just wear a black dobok, but you know, whatever. So I gotta fix this, and I do need this for like official stuff like gradings as well. Like, people tend to allow you to wear whatever you want when you go to like normal training and normally competitions, but when you go to formal stuff like gradings and seminars, a lot of people like the white doboks, but they're just not designed for people as flexible as me, let's be serious. Like, it's because I've got massive thighs that are like completely muscle, and when I squat, it just extends beyond the remit of the leg. So when I'm also flexible, it really has nowhere to go. So I rip a lot of trousers, I'm not gonna lie, especially when they're like, this is why I don't really wear pants very often. I like shorts, but this is why I don't really wear pants, because they are like super contained and I feel like I'm trapped. And I still haven't been able to find my thread scissors, which is annoying me. I got the classic sewing kit in a food tin. So I got my white thread that I'm gonna need. I got a few buttons. I got my pin cushion. I got some ribbon that I really want to just do something with because it's a cute color, and this is like, I don't love pink, but this is my favorite shade of pink. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like pastel pink. I don't know the exact name of it. Technically, pink isn't considered a color, it's considered a pastel. But there's like different shades, obviously. There's like bubblegum pink, baby pink. I'm not sure what pink this is, but this is my favorite shade of pink. Black also isn't considered a color, it's considered a tone, which I don't know if white is also considered a tone, because really white is just like the absence of other things, but clear is the absence of other things. So maybe white's considered a tone because it's monochromatic, but I feel like white is just nothing. I also got lace, I got a lot of pins, I got little sequins in here in my little Hello Kitty tin, but all I should really need right now is just white thread. But I don't have my fabric scissors, so I'm gonna have to deal with my kitchen scissors, which makes me unhappy. Yeah, so these are my dobok pants. These are my white ones. I'm being forced to wear the white ones tomorrow because it's like, people who want everyone to wear the same dobok, I understand, like, they say it's for the equality reason, but if a ref can't judge through your clothes, then they're a bad ref. But really, it's because they don't want anyone else's doboks to look cooler than the hosting clubs in their marketing materials when they take shots at the event. They want everyone to blend in together, so it looks like everyone from their organization is attending. So yeah, but that's my crotch. So even though I wear shorts under my dobok when I wear it, other people don't know that, and so it just looks like black under white. So yeah. I feel like I should trim off these excess threads, but part of me just wants to keep it there and use it as like extra strengthening mesh. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pin this to start with. I'm not like a trained seamstress in any way, shape or form, but I am quite good at DIYing my sewing. So let's pin this shut first. And the trick is to make sure you only sew on the side you want and not on the other side. Okay, so this was folded over, so this is like the inside. So we want to try and achieve the little fold scrunch again, and don't stab yourself while you're pinning it. Already failing. Okay, one. That's just a needle. We don't want the needle, we want pins. That's what they call it, pins and needles. Maybe they have thimbles to stop you like stabbing yourself with these things. I've never used a thimble in my life. So I want to close the gap, but I don't want to fill it with too many pins that I can't actually sew in between the pins. There's a real risk that I do this too far down the crotch, which I'm not sure if that's going to tighten, like restrict my movement further, or actually give me more range of movement than the original stitching. But I feel like it's going to restrict the movement because it's like more is within the seam. And the whole reason it ripped in the first place is because I've got too big of thighs while also being too flexible. Because you can have one or the other. Like you can have big thighs, but not need a big range of motion in the leg without putting strain on the crotch. Or you can have thin thighs and be really flexible because it's got a lot of give in the fabric. But like I think the main time these split, like obviously it got pretty bad over time, so it probably had a few sessions where I didn't notice before someone pointed it out to me, because I remember Mike at BCMA pointed it out to me very discreetly, which was nice of him, even though I wasn't technically flashing, because I had my shorts underneath. But the main time I remember hearing a stitch sound was while I was getting stretched ready to fight, and I was on the mats, and the leg got like stuck on my shin guard, so it already made the like thicker on the inside as well. And I got stuck on my shin guard while I was doing Cossack squats. I think it's Cossack, but I always say Cossack. Cossack squats. So I was like really deep in a squat when it happened. So you know what? We deal with that. Okay, so have I pinned that properly? Okay, that's pinned. Maybe one more right there. Just one more. Sharp things. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So that's pinned now. And that's the level of closed we want. And how does it hang? Ugh. I'm gonna end up with like one of those legging scrunch butts. Like, I'm sorry, I just got too much muscle on my lower half. They're not done. You know, I had to go up 2 sizes on my pants to be able to even contain my thighs in my black Dobok. Because they don't do it by like actual sizes of any means. It's like the Dobok is based off your entire height. So if you're anything but equally proportionate, it doesn't actually work. Okay, yeah, thread, needle and thread. Okay, yeah, we want as thin as possible because we don't want to create less durability in the fabric, or as it already has. I'm pretty sure it's because I don't know if our organization does this, but I'm pretty sure we do. But a lot of black, because we have the black belt Dobok, which is why I have this black trim on the side of the white edge. Like most places have like the red and black trim for like the senior color belts, like the experienced ones. But I'm pretty sure at the GBTF we have the half stripe for us, which is more evident on the top, which I don't have right now. We have the half stripe for first and second dans, and then I'm not sure if it goes up to fourth or if it goes up to second where it has the half stripe. But then after that you have the full stripe. So I'm hoping if I can just like make it with this to the end of my grading for my third dan, then maybe I'll get like upgraded to the full stripe and I won't have to buy a new suit with the half stripe. And if I can just mend this in time. I've never had a Dobok I've not had to mend either. Like, I don't know who our manufacturer is, but they are not designing for competitive players. Players. Why I've never called it a player in my life. Oh, I've seen too much WT content recently. Taekwondo practitioners. Jesus. Okay. Thread the needle, and this is probably going to be harder because it's not with my fabric scissors. And it literally is as well. Wait. Okay, it's through. It's through. We got it. Yeah. Okay. Threading a needle is the worst part of sewing. I hate it. They tell you to like not thread any longer than your arm length because then otherwise it becomes really hard to actually pull the stitch through. But I will stretch that motherfucker just because I don't want to thread the needle again. And like you can tie the knot to like tie the end of the thread, but then you can never get the knot in the same place at the end. So it's like, ugh. Okay, and now that's secured on the needle. Then we go to the end of the thread. I literally need to finish this by tomorrow as well. So like this is gonna just be the rattiest job ever. Like I'm not gonna do it bad on purpose, but what time is it? It's like 7 p.m. I could finish this quite reasonably, but I don't want to spend all night doing this. And I still need to record a normal video for DebbersDo Digital. It's gonna be on like the difference between shorts and clips, but yeah. Still can't believe I got my first content ID warning. I'm kind of glad it happened on this channel though, but I don't want to be like in trouble on either of my channels. Okay. So I mean, couldn't get that knot in the same place, but we're gonna start sewing. I feel like I'm gonna start at the side where it's not so bad because then I'll like reinforce when I get to the big hole as opposed to just having a whole bunch of flailing stuff. I appear to have chosen to push this needle through in the opposite direction to my pins, so I'm now going towards my pins of each stitch, but we're doing it and try and stop me. I got a hair stuck in my thread and that ruined the knot on my thread, Jesus. Look, I'm a woman, we shed hair, and I got long hair now. I know it's my feet that are calloused, but why do the needles actually feel so harsh on my fingers right now? This will probably be really easy on a sewing machine, but I do not own a sewing machine and I have no intention of investing in one or making the space to store one. Even when I did sewing in technology in school, I pretty much always stuck with needle and thread for my projects at home. I only used a sewing machine when absolutely forced for the criteria. I've lost a pin, oh my god. I'm a genius. Why am I a genius? I'm like literally the smartest person in the world, you know. It's like almost a decade after I left school, if not more than a decade after I left school. How old was I? No, it's almost a decade since I left high school, and I still think about the drama teacher, Miss Holden, who told me I was the ditziest smart person she'd ever met. Which that just sounds like I have a bubbly personality, right? Where'd my needle go? It's down there. Okay, I feel like I can go with a lot more strength when I'm not consciously thinking about the needle prodding me. Like, you wouldn't think I'm poor because I live in the middle of Manchester City Centre, but that's why I'm poor. A lot of people who live out in the sticks could just go buy a new Dobok and not even think about it. But I already spent my flexible money for the month on competition fee stuff. Yeah, you want to get the stitching deep enough into the seam that it's not going to like shred the material by having too little to anchor on. But you also don't want to have it too deep that you're losing excess flex in the fabric because you got to be able to kick in it. And like a part of the reason that I think my Dobok pants always break is because I actually do just kick through it and I'm like, fuck it, I'll break this stuff. I'm getting the point right now. But then I end up breaking my clothes. Once I get into it though, I do find sewing very therapeutic. Because my work is very brain heavy work. And it's nice just doing something with your hands that you can get into a rhythm with. And also, can we talk about, like, I'm peak wifey material right now. I'm hand sewing my own clothes so I can go kick bitches in the face tomorrow. I say bitches, I've looked at the roster. I actually know exactly who my first fight is with, and she's a lovely woman. She's called Sandra. She's from a club in Liverpool. I'm not gonna like dox her or anything, but I've fought her a lot of times before, and she's a darling every time. She is so sweet. I'm actually gonna ask her if she wants to do a with respect episode, because I've talked to people from her club. Like, I come across them in the bathroom and they like talk to me and we chat because they like recognize me, and I'll be like, oh, Sandra's absolutely everything. Like, a lot. I noticed that your club don't often accompany her, and I solo travel a lot to events, and she's like, oh, Sandra doesn't even tell us she's going. She signs up of her own accord, and then the rest of the club turns up, and it's like, oh, hi, Sandra. It's like, I have no idea if she remembers who I am, because like there have been multiple times where I've spoken to her and she clearly is like, who is this bitch talking to me? Or like she doesn't remember my name or something. But I remember Sandra. She's amazing. I feel quite bad for her as well because she's definitely in the veterans category, and she's been fighting me since I was like 21 maybe. So like there's a big age difference between us, but we used to be closer to being in the same division, and now she absolutely should be in the veteran division. But because of our weight, I often get paired with veterans because there's no one who matches me in my weight category. So I feel bad for her, but like Sandra's a beast. I love her. I'm fangirl for Sandra right now. Okay, now we're getting to like the real big gaping hole of the crotch, like right in the, like where the crotch meets both legs separately is where we're at. It makes me nervous. Okay, the closer I get to like the cross section of the seam, the more I'm gonna be like going kind of deeper, so it's definitely reinforced. But I still don't want to go too far. But yeah, so my first fight is with Sandra. My division has 5 tomorrow. I don't know if they're doing double bronze. I actually prefer double bronze, but I only dislike double bronze when there's 5 people. Because if there's less than 5, then everyone is guaranteed a medal. If there's more than 5, then there's a reasonable amount of people who are going to be disappointed. If there's only 5 people in a double bronze division, then you're the only person not getting a medal. And I very much am like, I personally am of the belief that if you don't get a gold, then everything's a consolation anyway. Like, placing silver or bronze is neutral for me. Like, I'm happy about it, but it's not anything amazing. I only want gold. I've only had one competition in my adult life where I didn't place in anything, and it's because they cancelled destruction that day, so I missed my opportunity to like pull it back. Because there have been times where I like sucked all day long, didn't even get past sparring, even though that's like my area, but I got gold in destruction on a day where they were doing like no bronze and silver for destruction, so I pulled it back before. But like, this was like, I've only one time not placed of anything, so if I don't get gold, then it's like that. But there's 5 in my division tomorrow, and it's rare that I get put directly into the semi-final when that happens. I normally have to have the max amount of fights. I don't know who determined it. Maybe they don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. My knots. What's happened? Oh, it's gone weird. Come on. Okay, it's happened. Oh, I think it got snagged on a pin. That's not good. Yeah. So I'm directly in the semi-final with Sandra tomorrow. So I have one fight with Sandra. And like, I am fangirling over her because I genuinely think she's an incredible person, but I have beaten her every single time. So unless she's been to like boot camp and back, I'm probably going to the final tomorrow. Which I'm glad that I still have to fight for it, because sometimes they only get a straight final, and I've traveled all the way and it's like one fight, bro, seriously. But the other 3, there will be, I think there's someone from abroad fighting, but they'll have the quarterfinal, and then whoever wins the quarterfinal will go on to their semi-final, which will be the second round of the semi-final. And then whoever wins that one will go into the final. Me and Sandra are directly in the semi-final, and there's another girl who's like guaranteed in the semi-final, but her opponent's undetermined yet because it's based on the quarterfinal. But because of the way that bracket is laid out, I'll actually have the opportunity to watch everyone fight first before I actually have to fight any of them. And I'll have already fought Sandra, so I know what Sandra's like. And the person who actually advances to the final, I'll have opportunity to watch them fight twice before I ever have to go to them. So strategically, I have an advantage there, although the person who goes to the final will have opportunity to watch me fight Sandra before I fight them. But I always find it really interesting how brackets play out. If it's alphabetical, I hadn't thought about alphabetical. Maybe it is, because I know Sandra's last name starts with a letter close to mine. But like normally when it's alphabetical, I end up being like in the first fight because my last name's Debney, which is like D is pretty close to the start of the alphabet. So yeah, we'll see what happens. My patterns I'm a lot less likely to place. I think it was like I think they had enough people that if I managed to beat if I managed to beat 2 people in patterns, then I get a medal, depending on if they do double bronze. But it's sine wave, and I'm not great at patterns even when it's non-sine wave, so I'm very unlikely to place in patterns. But I know that my clubmate Jen, if she defeats even 1 person in patterns, then she will get a medal there. Because her division's quite small for patterns, but it's even smaller for sparring, because it seems like she only got 1 fight, and she's in a straight final. It depends on if they split by age, that determines if me and Jen end up in a similar weight division. But she's a lower belt than me, and obviously like black belt and color belt generally don't fight each other. We fight each other in class all the time, but me and her are not going to be in the same division for a long time. Although, let me think. She couldn't like catch up to me anytime soon, but because of Jen's rank now, by the time I'm 4th Dan, she might be able to be, she'd probably be like a 2nd Dan by the time I'm like halfway through 4th Dan, as long as she like grades at the earliest opportunity every single time. So then we might be together. What would my age be by that point? I would still probably unlikely to be a veteran, but I would be close to the line. Because some people say a veteran is like 35 plus, some people say a veteran is 40. And I still don't know when my for downgrading is gonna be. Because like I'm never emotionally ready for a grading, so you know, I just do it at the first opportunity, get it over with. But like I never feel ready for a grading. But like a lot of people debate, and every single time I ask a different person this, I get a different answer. So everyone debates like, is your rank the number of years you're going towards, or the number of years you're coming from is how long you have to wait? Because like when you grade for your first Dan, you have to have been a first cup for a year, and you grade for your second Dan, you had to have been a first Dan for 2 years. And I'm pretty sure that's the scale I followed. But then I got a lot of people saying to me, I gotta wait 3 years for my grading. And then I got a lot of people saying to me, I gotta wait 2 years for my grading. So like, I'm either eligible in December or December in a year from now. I'm not sure. It dawns on me that my stitches are actually closer together and more frequent than the machine sewn stitches, which makes me think that I might be able to get this stronger than it was before. But I also worry a little bit about like weakening the grip of the material. But as far as I'm concerned, it barely has to last. Like, I plan to take my black Dobok with me anyway, just on the blind hope that there are other people there and, like, not white Doboks, even though the rules say. Because I hate my white Dobok for a few reasons. I think it looks awful. Psychologically, it throws off my head game. I need to feel like I'm the villain sometimes. like, it really does help me get in the zone. And then also, my black Dobok has short sleeves. And I hate having long sleeves for sparring. I hate having long sleeves generally. I don't own long sleeve shirts. I think I own a single long sleeve shirt for like the dead of winter when I'm like actually dying. And I don't think I even wore it last winter. I hate the feeling of long sleeves because I feel so restricted. And I feel like the tightness around me. Obviously, Dobok shirts, it's not tight, but I can like feel the material catching on my glove. And I'm just aware, like I'm constantly like holding my arm up in the air just to get the sleeve to like roll up towards my shoulder a little bit, because you're not allowed to actually fold your sleeves. Like when I didn't have my black Dobok because I was like looking for one that fit me, I would always roll up my long sleeves for training. And that's another reason I don't like white ones, but I hate this. And like in taekwondo, for example, the belt colors mean things. So white represents innocence and like a not a fret, basically, like purity. And the meaning of black in taekwondo is the opposite of white, showing a degree of maturity and experience in the art, as well as demonstrating an imperviousness to darkness and fear. And that last bit is like the main bit they look for if they give you that question in a grading for your theory, is the imperviousness to darkness and fear. So that's why we have the black stripes on the white doboks for black belts, like on the side here. But why can I not just wear a black dobok then? It's not even like I got logos plastered all over it. Like I want my own branded dobok with like purple stars and stuff and a QR code to the channel. Like that's just a goal I have for me for like fun. But like, why can I not just wear my plain black dobok with short sleeves? Come on now. I feel less physically prepared for my fight this week than I did last week, but I just think it's because I don't feel like I've fully recovered from last week. Like, I've not slept great because of the heat at any point. I've not been able to go to bougie gym because I was preoccupied with other things, so I've just been doing home training. I couldn't go to class for taekwondo this last week because I was at my competition last week, and honestly, like, what I did at the competition is probably better for me than what I could have done in class in terms of prep, because my success in competition has pretty much always been down to my mental state and like getting into the survival fight mindset was like really successful last week, which I wouldn't have got in class. So I don't actually worry about that part of it, but we'll see. I just got to get a little bit angry. Like, you should never actually fight in anger. You should always be able to control your emotion. And I feel like I'm incredibly good at self-control. Like, that's one of the 5 tenets of taekwondo is courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. But there's a burning rage that came out of me, and that perfect storm is how I know it's going to be a good day on the mats. It'll be interesting tomorrow to see how Fozia reacts to her first competition environment. I do still think she should have come and tried competing with a pattern, but she's going to just spectate, and I can't wait to hear her perspective on the vibe. Because some people feed off of it like me, and some people find it kind of intimidating. But I think every fighter needs to experience a competition environment at least once as a learning experience. Whether that's a means of building confidence or getting your arrogance checked a little bit. Because if you are the big fish in the small pond of your club and you're the best person at your club, then you get your shit rocked on the mats. That gives you something to actually work towards instead of coasting. And some people can only progress by fighting those outside of their normal remit. Especially because if you get attacked on the streets, you are not only going to be against someone you've never experienced before, so you'll need to be observant in the moment. But it's rarely going to be a fair fight. So I think it actually does people well to even go into some mismatched fights. Because people rarely victimize those who are the same size as them. I finished the stitching, and that was kind of exhausting. I think I've been doing it for a couple hours at this point. I did the bit that was like towards the front of the crotch, and I did that as one clean section. And then I went back around to the butt, and I did that as one clean section. You can kind of see, like, if anything, it's more reinforced right where I did it as opposed to where it was actually done originally. I know for a fact I had more stitches in there, than the original manufacturer put in. But theirs were done with a machine, so you'd think it's better, but I don't even know if I really agree with that. And you can really see where it was like the clean, and then right on the crotch where it was like all the three intersected, the three different seams intersected, it got really difficult, so it's kind of messy there. But it's almost a straight line. So I think I did my pinning really accurately, at least. We'll see if that pin I lost down the couch stabs me in the butt sometime, if I just randomly start bleeding tomorrow. So that'll be fun. But I think I got this done. So I'm just gonna go off camera and put these on, and then I'll test them out. So if I back up like that, and then you can see the stitching. So I'm gonna have to like squat and stuff to check that it's not gonna like come apart while I'm doing my warm-ups. So that's not so bad. I'm gonna do a side kick and just I'm just gonna put this all the way up. I can't tell if you can see me. A side kick. Ugh, I am not warmed up at all. Or like a front kick. So it's like da, or da, or a back kick. Da, da. I think the floor is a bit slippery, and I don't know why. But yeah, don't be injuring ourselves the night before a competition. But yeah, I think I got the seam pretty good. I think I fixed it. So watch me completely tear them open during fights tomorrow anyway.